Bosede Joseph is a passionate Nigerian-based content creator, teacher, and storyteller whose work sits beautifully at the intersection of education and global awareness. With a heart for both the classroom and the wider world, she has built a platform that not only informs but also empowers our audience to better understand the forces that shape our daily lives. Through her YouTube channel, Bosede Joseph, she delivers clear, insightful coverage of major global events, from political shifts in the United States and Canada to social developments in Iran, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso. Her storytelling goes beyond the headlines, breaking down complex issues into meaningful narratives her viewers can relate to and act upon. What makes Bosede truly unique is how she weaves her background as a teacher into her content creation. Whether she's curating breaking news, experimenting with YouTube's latest features, as some of you have seen on her live streams, or engaging with her community, Bosede brings the same clarity, curiosity, and care she does in the classroom. Her journey is one of educating, informing, and inspiring, proving that knowledge, when shared creatively, can empower people across the borders. And today we are so excited to have her here at Sunday service to hear her story. And it's all about educating, informing, and empowering the creators that are in the community. And she's going to talk to us about her path from the classroom to global news storytelling. Bosede Joseph, without further ado, allow me to put you up on the main screen so that you can introduce yourself to the people in the best way you know how. Over to you, Bosede.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that biography. I'm so honored to be here. My name is Bosede Joseph. As you may well know, of my other names, I have Symbol, Ola Symbol, which many of you might not know that I also bear that name because it's not that popular on this street.
Yeah.
Joseph is my father's name, who is late, by the way. So
My condolences.
that's how
Sorry.
I got the name today, Joseph. So I'm married. I am married. I'm with two children. So for those of you, many of you might not know that I'm married, but on this street, I want to keep my private life private as it is. So many times I don't let my children come to the screen when I'm live and all that. So, but I am happily married to one man, to one man and not two men. Yes. I'm also a teacher. I teach history in a secondary school in Nigeria. Some of you might be thinking I teach English, but no, I teach history as a subject. So recently, Nigeria decided to introduce history as a subject so that we can know our roots. Before then, we
Mm.
were not offering, secondary students were not offering history, but they decided to bring it so as to know our roots. And I'm a graduate of history and history education. So I'm a graduate. So you're looking like at a graduate on the screen also teaching in a secondary school, in a private secondary school in Nigeria. What else? So that is that about that. Thank you so
Right.
much.
I like that. And Tonia's talk is getting excited because she said, "Oh my God, that's my fellow colleague." Because Tonia's talk is also a teacher, and we may be having her at the Sunday service next month as well. But why teaching? What inspired you to pursue teaching as a profession, as opposed to, let's say, nursing, lawyer, medicine? Why teaching itself? Because teaching is a noble profession. You are impacting generations of people will remember you years. I still remember my best teachers today. And it's been a long time since I was like in a school and in a school setup. But yeah, talk to us about teaching. Why teaching as opposed to, let's say, other professions?
Maybe because teaching is very easy, but on a
Really?
serious,
Really? Really?
that's on the light.
No,
That's
teaching
on the
cannot
light
be
I will
easy.
go. That's on the light I will go, girl. But really, I think I have passion for teaching, for impacting knowledge into younger ones, because I look at the statistics of teachers in my country, and I think we might have a problem in, say, about 20 years to come with the kind of children we are producing these days. None of them want to become a teacher. Imagine. So I think
Wow.
the love for classroom, the love for children, you know, there's joy in you when you see people you're imparting knowledge on and you see them doing exploits. I have some of my students who are graduate today, some of my students who are graduate. So it gives me joy when when I see them and I see the product of my hands in them. And I think that's what drove me into teaching in the first place. The flair for impacting knowledge in other people, and to be able to do this, at least you have to be at bay yourself. You have to be able to be on point. You have to be able to be up to date to be able to
Mm.
impart knowledge in others. And I think I like that. I don't think I don't like a job or a profession where I'll be left redundant after some times. You know, with teaching, you have to be on your toes every time. You have students that are asking you questions that you have to get back to your drawing board and tell yourself, look, I think I'm becoming obsolete or I'm becoming too old for these children. So you have to go back to your drawing board to learn about things. You know, my colleague Tonya Stock saw a textbook on history with me the other day, and she was like, "You, this lady, you don't you don't buy any other thing. I've not seen you buy any, but you buy history textbook." And in fact, to tell you for a fact, I ordered the book from Jumia. That's the length at which I can go for teaching. So I think I'm passionate about it. I love teaching as a profession. It's a noble job and it's a noble profession. Thank you so much.
I love that. And TK, our brother from South Africa, says yes, indeed. Teachers, a teacher's impact is an important one to the society. And Tonia's talk is getting excited that yeah, Bosede is really representing. I love you. That is your fellow colleague. Vani said something important there, and Vani was saying that Bosede, you're not lying. A lot of people nowadays don't want to teach. From you, from where you sit as a teacher, what do you think is the reason why are young people not inspired to teach? Especially in this generation, because like who is going to inspire? You said you get a lot of joy when you see your graduate students, at least making it in life and things like that. But why is it that the generation today is not keen on embracing this profession, in your opinion?
All right. Thank you for that question. Number one, I would say the salary. You know, so many people, so many younger generation, they want to go into professions that pay them millions, hundreds of thousands. They don't want to go into professions that pay peanuts, because let me tell you for a fact, teaching in Nigeria, especially in a private school, is not encouraging in terms of salary. So I would say, when sometimes we joke with our students in the classroom, I would be like, how many of you want to become a teacher? And all of them will be saying, God forbid, none of them want to become a teacher. And that's because they are seeing what we are taking home at the end of the month, which is not encouraging. So many of them will not want to end up as being someone managing his or her salary for the month. So
Yeah.
I would say because of that. Then another reason will be that the kind of graduates we are producing these days, I would say with time, the IQ is dropping. The rate at which we are having intelligent people are dropping. And I've seen cases of where young people go for teaching interview, and they couldn't even write an ordinary application letter. That's so bad. It has gotten to that extent where they can't even put, but when you see them, they speak English. They're on top of that. When they speak English, you tell them, you give kudos to them and be like, oh, this one can teach. But tell them to come and write application letter, then they'll begin to fumble. That's the kind of graduates we are producing these days. And it pains my heart that this, because we have children growing up, our children will be in the school and they will
Mm.
need teachers in near future. So who are these people that are going to teach them? That's what pains me the most. And I think we need to do something about it as in Nigeria. And
Right.
I don't know if it's like that in Kenya. I don't know, but the situation.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I would agree because it's one of those professions that is not well paid. I do have a lot of friends who are teachers, and it's one of those things that they always tell me. One of my mentors, actually, my life mentors, she retired just like 2 3 months ago, and she was a teacher for like over nearly 40 years. And even in retirement, she says, if she looks at the pension she gets after dedicating all those years, it does not add up. But for her, she says the joy she gets when she sees the graduates, the people the people who pass through her hands, for her, that is everything. Joe Delaney, thanks so much for that. And joyful reflection says teaching is a passion. TK says the salary in teaching profession is very low globally, and that needs to change. And I think that speaks volumes in terms of what you are just saying. Official Money is talking about obsolete graduates that people can speak English, yes, but when it comes to actually the science of teaching, it's not reflecting. And Tiki agrees that yes, it's the same globally. It's the same globally. If you're nice to see you, welcome. If you're nice to see you, I see Bev Artist Kitchen as well. Thanks so much for coming in. Thanks so much, if you're brother. Um, let's talk about you talked about being in private school. One would hope that a private school salary will maybe be more like lucrative as opposed to like public school. I don't know what are the dynamics in Niger, even in terms of if private school is also not very, it's not very like rewarding. Um, in case somebody wants to be a teacher in the future, how are they going to navigate that terrain?
Can you come again?
No, I was asking about the private school dynamic. You say you teach in a private school, and
Okay.
what are the comparison as opposed to public school? Because somebody would imagine that private schools pay better. I don't know what is your take on this, or maybe it's just a
Okay.
misconception.
All right. Public school in Nigeria pays better. Public school in Nigeria pays way better, way better. Um, but the reason why most people haven't gotten into public school is because, you know, there's limited slots there, and government,
Hmm.
as such, they don't want to employ. You see some schools with vacancies with no teachers, but government don't fill those vacancies. So, and for you to get into the public school in Nigeria, you have to have someone there that will put in your name and your good books and all that. But I want to tell you that private school teachers, they are very, very brilliant. Do you know why? They are properly and well monitored than even public teachers. As
Hmm.
public teachers, they could go to class, their job is secured already. But in private schools, one mistake might end a sack letter from the proprietress of a proprietor or the owner of the school. But for public servants, all they could give them might be a query or something. But
Yeah.
you know, and it reminds me, whenever we have supervisors coming over to our school, you see so many people being on their toes. Tonya will bear me witness with that. You see people walking, running helter skelter just to keep their information correct, so that no one would accuse them of sabotaging the efforts of the school and all that. So I think
Mm.
private school teachers are also well educated and they are also well qualified. But the only difference between private school teachers in Nigeria and public school teachers is just that the opportunity is not yet there for them to cross over to public schools.
Right. Some very interesting comments coming through on the chat. And I'm going to also like, guys, if you have any question for Bosede, feel free to drop it on the chat. I will mark it and then I will be able to like, ask her. So Mugeni Charity is talking about probably Finland could be the best when it comes to caring for their teachers. Of course, it had to be a country outside the continent for sure. And then TK says, private schools are the ones which I thought pay well. I'm surprised to hear it's the same over there. And this is him in South Africa. And then he adds by saying, true, private schools need to perform good results to attract more students, and that sets them apart. But I like what you said in terms of the opportunities even to get into the public school system are not very many. And if they are there, it's almost like corruption is involved for you to just get into that profession. I don't know, for you who has invested a lot of time, you've gone through school, you became a graduate. How does this make you feel that, the people who are getting into the profession, they have to like cut corners to get, to get there? And what does this even mean for like a student who has to go through this particular system? And this is now me getting a bit political in this conversation.
I think it's the same in almost all the sectors in Nigeria. It
Yeah.
is the same. You see people going to, I remember there was a year, I can't remember correctly the year, there was a recruitment for immigration. And you see people, there were people that were stampeded, that died during the recruitment process. Now, ask me where that recruitment process ended. Nothing was heard about it. That's the extent at which people will tell you that this vacancy that was advertised on the newspaper, people are already on ground to fill in the post. So that's just formality's sake. Putting the advert in the newspaper is just for formality. The people that are going to occupy the positions are already on ground by the people they have over there. So, and that's the same thing in the educational sector. You see, sometimes they tell you to bring about ₦1 million to be able to fix your name in maybe the board, the educational board, and sometimes they tell you that because you have the director is my uncle, that was why I was able to get the job and so on. So the rate at which corruption, and I'm not so happy about it. Now I'll tell you a small story of what happened to me. There was a recruitment process that was going on in my state at a point. So I went for the first stage. I passed. The first stage was the exam. I went for it. I passed. I went for the second stage, which was the interview. I also passed. So I was telling my mom at that time. I was like, I was confident because of the score I had that I would get the state job. I was so confident in myself. But when the list came out, I looked for my name on the list. I couldn't find it. I could not. I was so devastated by that. I was devastated. It was an understatement because for you to be qualified for something and for people that are not that qualified, they got in. And you tell yourself, was it because I had no one to put in words for me or something? So that is the situation in Nigeria. And if the situation persists over time, is going to generate into something else.
There are some very interesting comments coming through on the chat. Mugeni Charity, for example, says, in Kenya, teachers will give everything to be employed by the government because only well-known private schools pay well. But most available private schools pay even more than peanuts. I guess this is just the same situation as what you guys are going through there in Niger. And then Tonia's talk agrees with you that exactly. Sometimes you have to buy the job. Sometimes you have to buy the job, and it's a sad situation, and it is what it is. Even if you're talking about the need for better leadership and things like that, and so on and so forth. But yet you pick the profession, you went and you're a teacher of history. What inspires you? There's a question you've been asked on the chat by somebody. Despite all this, you're being asked, what inspires you every day? To keep showing up and teach your students, and let them graduate, move on to better pastures that even will pay higher than than what the teacher earns, and so on. What is it that drives you every time when you wake up?
I think the joy on these students' faces is what drives me. Sometimes when you enter the class as a sad person, you might be coming from the gate. You might be coming from our gate, because the gate to the school classrooms is a bit far. So you might be coming and you see students coming, running, as like they are running, they are racing themselves just to come and hug you and to collect your bags. I think that's where it starts. Then also, these students, they are very rewarding. When some of them graduate, they even at the higher institution, they are still calling you. I think that's what gives me the most joy, to tell you that these children, they actually know what you're doing. They appreciate your effort in their life. It might not be all of them anyway. It might not be all of them, but most of them appreciate that you are really doing something in their lives, and that's what gives me joy. Sometimes, I always wake up as early as 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Nigerian time, just to get prepared, because anything other than 7:30, 7:35, you're late. So you have to get prepared very early, and as early as 6:50, I'm already out of the house. And you don't get home sometimes until 4 p.m. in the evening. And by the time you're home, you're trying to prepare for dinner, you're trying to do this. By the time you're tired already, and you just go back to bed and all that. And before you know it, it's morning time already. And that's how the cycle goes. But in all this, I see the joy on these children's face when I see them in the morning, and that's what gives me joy.
I love that. And guys, feel free to ask the Bosede any question you may have on the chat. We are multi-streaming once again, so in case you're wondering, where are these people that you are talking about? They're over at Bosede's live stream. So in case you're on my live stream and you've not gone to give Bosede a thumbs up, you can jump over. The link that is pinned there will take you directly to her live stream, and you can watch the show over from her channel as well. Just make sure that you're supporting her. And we welcome super chat, super stickers. Feel free to interact with the $sign. There's a buy me a coffee page. When you go to our channel, Bosede has been very categorical when it comes to buy me a coffee. Yeah, that's the one person who is very categorical on buy me a coffee before any other link. So it is there. You can also be able to support her buy me a coffee page, and feel free to drop any question that you may have for her. And you can see the channel is projected there: education, YouTube tips, growth, and editing tutorials. And we are going to narrow into that conversation shortly in this show. Let's talk about history, Bosede. Why history? What inspires you about history? That so inspired you about history that you became a history teacher. And I like how you are so categorical that, guys, I am not a teacher of English. I know they normally say you don't say English teacher, but teacher of English. I am not a teacher of English, but I teach history. Why history as opposed to, let's say, chemistry? History teacher, if I remember, my history teacher is my friend up to date, and I think he became my friend because I got into government after I left school. So I was right in the heart of politics for a long time as a profession before I left government about a year ago. But he's my friend up to date, and it was amazing because I think is everybody's favorite teacher. And history teachers, they don't get a bad rap as opposed to the mathematics teacher or the chemistry teacher, because we just love the history teacher. So why history as opposed to, let's say, a different, maybe a different topic or a different subject? What inspires you about history?
I would say the love to know about other things going on in the world, because when I started in the higher institution, when I started, I initially wanted to go for English language, but at that time I was so naive, guys. I was so naive. I didn't know what I was doing. My elder brother actually told me to go for literature while I was in the senior secondary school. So I didn't know the importance of literature. So when I got to the higher institution, I wanted to do English language, but I wasn't admitted because of the literature. So I went for history. And when I got into the department, I fell in love with history because I could see from the first history they taught us, we were taught the history of the state of where I schooled. Then we went into the history of Nigeria. Then I began to know more about my country, and I fell in love with it the more. And from there, we did world history in terms of World War, the Revolution, and everything, American history, and so on. So it gave me, so whenever I read, sometimes I read a particular material for a course more than 3 times, 4 times before exam comes. And by the time exam, I already know most of the things in the material. So I became accustomed to history. So I just kind of like, and if you know me, you know that I actually want to know more about what is happening other than my country. I want to know what is happening over the world, and I felt I could do that through history.
Right. You have Mugeni Charity, who says that history was a favorite subject, and you have Eva Kikaya, who says I never liked history when I was in school. Wait, Bosede, one of the things that you'll agree with me in terms of especially having grown up in Africa and the continent. I don't know that we still have you. You're frozen a bit. I like how she froze. Yeah, sorry guys. Let's I like how she froze on a smile. And once again, guys, as I wait for Bosede to get back, so in case you've not yet connected to her channel, it is here. That is a channel you need to support. As I wait for Bosede to get back on the screen, then we are going to ask all those questions. So in case you have any question you want to ask, feel free to drop it on the chat. Chana says, my history teacher made me hate history because she was very rude. You see the trauma from the people who like impart knowledge on you. It can some of you carry it into adulthood. So let me wait for Bosede. Bosede is back. Okay, Bosede, welcome back. Bosede, can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Welcome back. So you have two extremes. Yes, I can hear you. We have two extreme people on the chat. You have even Chana says, my history teacher made me hate history because she was very rude. Wakesho says, I chose geography. And so on. Bosede, can you hear me? Oh yeah, you're there. Your head moved. Yes. Yeah. I was
Okay.
confirming that you're not out. I was confirming that you're not frozen. So you have two extremes.
Okay.
Like you have two extremes. There are people who love history. There are people who dread history. What is your take, especially growing in Africa? One of the things I like about the curriculum is how you. I think history was a very important thing for us to learn, especially as Africans, because sometimes I'm having conversations with people, let's say from the West, and they're always fascinated how I tend to know certain things that they don't know. And sometimes just because of our curriculum, especially in Africa, we had to learn about the colonial masters. We had to learn about how independence, how, like, let's say Nigeria got its independence, how Kenya got its independence. One of the things at least I appreciate, especially from our early educationists, is at least that aspect of the curriculum, because you get to appreciate where you come from, so that when I'm in London, I'm not just excited about London, but I also have a different lens of why the British behave the way they behave, and what are some of the things they brought to my country, and you can still see some of those particular similarities. And there's a very beautiful question I think Ifeanyi has asked very well, and maybe that is what I was going to ask. Bosede, as a teacher, would you say that the school curriculum is helping the development of Nigeria and Africa in general? I think that's literally what I wanted to ask in a different way. Knowing what you know now as a history teacher and knowing the curriculum now, what is your take on this question by Ifeanyi? Would you say that the school curriculum is helping the development of Nigeria and Africa in general?
I will ask a question. Curriculum on history or in education in general?
Let's look at it from the angle of history, and then we'll come to general. Because I know one of the things is that as Africans, we don't like discounting where we've come from, and it's very important for us.
I think it's yes. I would say yes, because like I said, the history was reintroduced. I learned they were doing history in secondary school, but for a very, very long time it was stopped. I don't know why, but I guess the policymakers, they will know why it was stopped. But recently it was reintroduced. And why? I think I know some of the reasons why it was reintroduced. Number one, you can't do well without knowing the mistakes of the past. There were some mistakes that were made by let's say past politicians, and the only way we can avoid repeating such mistakes is through learning those mistakes, and also learning how not to repeat those mistakes. And that's what history is all about. So I think it's helping to develop the country by learning about the politicians, the heroes that had gone before now, and how they were able to develop the country. We see people like Obafemi Awolowo, we see Nnamdi Azikiwe, and we see people who were nationalists, who were those people, they sweat to gain independence from the British, and it taught us nationalism, that's being patriotic about the country. So I think history in a way is contributing to the development of the country.
All right. If any clarifying, what about generally, like in general, considering the recital nature of sometimes non-updated information, both in history
Okay.
and other subjects? Yes.
I think in general, education in Nigeria, I would say, I may not be able to speak for all the African countries, but I would say in Nigeria, education is not where it should be for now. In terms of the curriculum, we are so backward. Now if we look at the curriculum we are using in Nigeria, there's nothing to write home about in those curriculums. We see education is going somewhere in between digital. We are going digital, but most of the schools in Nigeria, they are still on analog level. And you see most of the children we are producing today, most of them might not be able to handle. You see science students not being able to see a microscope in a laboratory. There's no lab in some schools, and it is very, very sad for Nigeria or for African countries to be producing those kind of graduates. And when they go there in the world, they see the difference between the educational system in Africa, in Nigeria, and the world. We go to some schools where the science students don't even know some of the equipment being used in the laboratory. You see, even in some schools, you see them not being able to use, recently we were advocating for a tech lesson plan. As I'm talking to you now, we are still using an analog lesson plan where you could just sit down in your house, type on your phone, make a lesson plan, make a lesson note, and you project it to the student. But you see, our system is still based on writing and writing until your fingers are hurting, and I think that's not a good thing in the education system in Nigeria and maybe in Africa.
Interesting comments coming through on the chat. Mugeni Charity says, I taught history and Christian religious education as my first job in my at graduate school, but not as a professional after graduate school, but not as a professional teacher. And then Omar says, if you want to manipulate people and push propaganda, don't allow them to know their history or manipulate the history. And I'm sure as a history teacher, you are going to have an opinion on this. And then Chana says, history has always been part of my country, but the leaders make even worse mistakes. And they are creating history in the process as they make those mistakes, just like what Bosede was trying to say. And then I got a new name says, I think a blend of history and technology will help us understand history better. What is your take on this? On these interesting opinions that are coming through on the chat? I like the one by Omar, especially the one of manipulating people. What is your take on this?
Let me read the question again. Sorry.
Oh, it was just a comment. So I was saying that I like this comment by Omar, and I don't know what is your take on it. So Omar says, if you want to manipulate people, push propaganda, don't allow them to know their history or manipulate the history. Did you get it?
I think what she's trying to say is, if you want to manipulate people and you know their history, you might use their history against them. I think that's what she's trying to say. And I've had several scenarios about this. In my hometown, for instance, you see politicians, some of them might not be born in my hometown. And when it's time for them to go into maybe a political post, when they are vouching for any post as such, you see people using that against them. They will tell them, you were not born here. And even they themselves might not know. What they don't know about themselves, people will bring it up when it's time to use that against them. And I think it's the same generally when it comes to the country.
Let me ask you a question based on there are people here.
I want to comment on something. I think one of the challenges we have as history students and history teachers in Africa, I don't know, might be because we don't have sufficient materials when it comes to teaching students. You know, we mostly rely on oral history. Oral
Mm,
history is word of mouth, words passed down from generation to generation. And that's
yeah.
one of the problem we have as history students. We don't know how this, we were only told, say for instance, the history of Mansa Musa. Most of those materials, they were told, and not no material, no tangible material to back up what we claim. So I think that's one of the challenges we're having in history as a subject.
I like that, and you know, it's in the modern world we live in. You know, we're also creating history, and the history for the kids in, let's say, in the year 2040 will be so different, let's say, than what we used to like appreciate as history, because you know the generations are changing, people are growing older, other people are dying. um do you feel like as a continent, especially as Africa, we are doing enough to like document, considering the technology we have today? Do you think we have enough to document history, or even to correct this mistake of history being passed by word of mouth? And sometimes when history is passed by word of mouth, it can be manipulated in a sense to favor, let's say, certain interests. Do you think we are doing better in the current time we are living in to preserve history, or even to create new history for the future generation?
No, I don't think we are doing. I think um, many of those in power are making the situation worse rather than correcting the past mistakes. Most of them, they are repeating the past mistakes. And
Mm.
what is there to be documented? There's nothing to be documented. Is it if you've heard of the toll gates massacre that happened in Nigeria? It happened during the last regime, the Buhari regime. So now, what do you want to document about that? Are you going to
Mm.
document something bad about your country? So I think in times to come, we might not have anything to write on the history of Africa, because most African countries, they are not doing enough. They are not doing enough for it to be documented. Most of those things happening in Africa, they are not worth documenting.
A good example is there's a time when I was in university, I was having I when I was doing my dissertation, and one of the first statements I used was a quote by Thomas Sankara. And for me, that was because that for me, that guy is like my hero, my idol, everything. So I decided to put him on my dissertation. But my lecturer, or my dissertation supervisor, on the other hand, had a totally different opinion, because according to her, she said it was too activist. It may be sending the wrong message to maybe somebody in the future may be reading my dissertation. But I'm like, no, we are young, and we want to like. I love the ideals of Thomas Sankara. He had his weaknesses for sure, but one of the beautiful things, I mean, it took a long time, but you know, you talk about Burkina Faso a lot in your channel. It took a lot of years since the 80s, but he has been vindicated. History vindicated Thomas Sankara in a sense. And you can see all these amazing things that are happening in Burkina Faso. Do you think the political class sometimes they try to like, and this may be what Omar maybe is also asking on the chat, do you think the political class sometimes is trying to suppress history in a sense so that it does not portray them in bad light in the future?
I think so. I think most of them are trying to suppress history so that in future, I would say, for instance, there was a situation in Nigeria. I don't know if you know about Abacha. When
Abado. Abado.
I was very young when he died. I was so young, but I heard what happened to him. The kind of the story we heard of how he died was quite different when I grew up and I started reading history textbooks. You will be you'll be so surprised at what I saw. He was actually portrayed as being um as dying of natural cause. But
Yeah.
people that were alive as at that time knew what actually happened to him. So most of these politicians, they are trying to cover up their atrocities so that the future will not tell of them. And I think it is going to be like that for a very long time, because most of these people, they are repeating the same pattern. You see, in my country, I tell people that most of these politicians, they are the same. Now, let's say you're leaving these political parties to another one. They are all the same, and this one will go there and do something worse than the former one. So, and all of them, they are trying to, and I see most of them are not doing something worth emulating even in future, or they are not doing something worth documenting in future. And that's the sad thing about that.
And that takes us to the next conversation. Mugeni Charity has given me a perfect segue. She's asking, was your change of content motivated by your love for history?
Hmm. Uh, I would say, in a way, yes. It was motivated by the love for history, and yes. But the first thing that motivated me was the revenue. You know,
I like the honesty. I like the honesty there. Goga. Goga, it is not the content, it is the money.
it's the money. See, let me tell you a brief history of how I changed my niche from teaching people how to do things on YouTube to entering a news creation. So there was a time I started with telling people how to open up a channel. I don't know what niche that belongs to. So telling people how to open a channel, what to do on in YouTube, and so on and so forth. But I discovered at that time, anytime I drop a video, people would tell me, "Oh, thank you so much for this. Can you keep doing this? Can you?" But when I drop a video, at most I get 70 views, and I'm like, most of those views, it doesn't earn me up to 10 cents. And I look at myself and I said, no, is this how I'm going to continue? And when I look at the news, I'm someone that I have this flair for uh, things, knowing what is happening all over the world. So I'm like, why not jump into that? Then I had someone that was that changed my notion about things. I know most of you know her. Her name is MK. MK Zarena. So she was someone that had positive impact on why I changed my niche. She was like, there was a time she said something and that thing stuck into my brain. She said, see, it is not about the content. Do what you can to get this revenue, to get the views. And the moment I posted on news channel, the first one I saw, the views I got was so encouraging. I'm like, oh, I am here to stay. This is what I am going to be doing. And from then on, and that was how I've continued to do that.
And this was from 5 months ago. This was from 5 months ago. And I think I hope Mugeni Charity, you've been answered. And one of the things about news is that news is also like usually a source of history. And I know as a history teacher, news is very important for you because it also helps you
Yes,
like
yes,
analyze trends and things like
yes,
that.
yes. There,
Um, yes, carry on.
okay. So many times. so many times these news that I'm doing had helped me even in the classroom. There'll be sometimes I'll be making illustrations of some topics, and things from what I've uploaded on my channel will just come to mind, of what I've seen on somewhere will just come to mind. And I will use that to illustrate, I will use that to further explain to my students, and that will stick to them, to their memories. And I'll be like, okay, this is complementing what I'm doing in the classroom. So I would say I am not losing, because both are somehow related, and I think I like that.
All right, you have a question here by Vani. And guys, Vani just had a premiere, so you can go rewatch that premiere after this. Vani was asked, sorry, not Vani, Elmo. Elmo is asking, because I think I'm thinking of official Vani and it's official Elmo. Elmo is asking you, how do you have accountability of teaching history?
How do you
How do you have accountability of teaching history?
Can you explain that?
I think from my understanding, maybe Elmo, let me not explain what you're trying to ask. Elmo, maybe can you just clarify for us this? Because I think for me, for me, I would interpret it as you are now a history teacher. You are now passing history to the next generation. There are other teachers who did the same to you. So I think just that accountability, the fact that you are teaching history now to a new generation, and they are likely to also just carry it into their future. So I think maybe that's what Elmo is trying to ask.
Okay, I think I see myself as carrying, because for now, I will tell you, in Nigeria, we are not so many that are teaching history. We have just few teachers in history as a subject, and I see myself in that light as being a bridge between this generation and the next generation to come. And something I usually do in my classroom, I try to make the history to be very, very interesting for my students, so that they'll fall in love with the subject. Because if they don't love the subject, there's no way they are going to like it. Because let me tell you, history is all about dates. You have to be very, very, you have to be able to recall those dates. You have to be able to recall names and all that, to be able to remember history. So I see myself as carrying this responsibility of being able to pass on history into the next generation. And let me tell you, my dream is way beyond being a secondary school teacher. In times to come, I want to be a lecturer. So a lecturer of history. So in years to come, I might become a lecturer of history, and that, in a way, I'm also carrying that into the next level to be able to produce
Nice.
history students in future.
I love that. And I love that. Yes, I think I like you're like a vessel, you are carrying it over to the next generation. I would have actually answered it that way as well. Elmo, I hope you've been answered. There's a very important question that has been asked, and this is actually, this is coming from Omar. Do you think news and gist content creators are redefining the preservation of history globally? These are very interesting question, because you are now a content creator. You're not. I don't now just look at you as a teacher of history, but I also look at you as a content creator who is creating news, who is actually, because you're propagating conversations from your news content. You are giving perspectives based on your content. From what Omar is asking, do you think you are redefining the preservation of history globally based on a tool such as YouTube?
I will say yes, because when we talk about this history, there are some things we might not even know before now. On a
Mm.
normal day, if I don't talk about, if that's not my niche, I might not have heard about the person of Charlie Kirk, who died while teaching. So many things like that, so many things that are happening all over the world. I would say the news and gist channel is also preserving the history for um, in time to come. So I would say yes.
Okay. Let me get into your content strategy, because you changed niches and you jumped into the news content and it has been doing very well. One of the things about news is that it also has a cycle. But you said for you YouTube had to make money sense for you, and you can see this is you're not just a teacher now, but you're also a business person on YouTube. I have to make money, and if news is what is going to make me make this money, I am going to go for it. The only thing I'm going to ask you now in terms of your content strategy is that you do cover a lot of countries, not just the United States. You referenced Charlie Kirk, who was before I came to this live stream, I was on his channel, and there were a lot of people there watching the service. So you cover from the United States to Burkina Faso. How do you decide on the stories to highlight? Because news can be very overwhelming and broad. Like, how do you decide on the content in case somebody wants to get into this niche?
Okay. So the first thing I made up my mind for, I researched on countries that can give me high CPM. So,
Explain America.
so that's the first thing I did. Then I also researched on when I can post and that will give me enough views and all that. So the first time I posted something. I think I posted on Canada first. So I will say the first thing I looked for when I started this niche was, I do not want to post about my country,
Mm.
because the CPM, is it RPM now? I don't know, but the revenue in my country is very low. It is
Yeah.
very low. So you might have like 1K views, and what you see on the video might be so small and discouraging. But the first time I posted on something and I saw the geography and I saw the people that watched, I saw people from Canada, from US, that kind of upped the revenue a bit compared to what I would have normally have in Nigeria. So the first thing I did was to pick my stories from different countries and countries that have high CPM, for instance. Then recently, I have also been including Nigerian content also. I've also been including Nigerian content, like you saw the one about Hilda Bashi, the one on so many. No, I think I've posted like 3 news on Nigeria. So
Mm.
that is it. I always look for countries with high CPM, for instance. Then I looked, the first time I posted about Burkina Faso, I saw the views and I was like, oh wow. Then when I looked further, I researched further and I saw that people were actually talking about this man called Ibrahim Traore. So I said,
Mm.
oh, wow, this man is the reigning man. Why not pick up something about him? And that was it.
One of the things one of the things I like with you is that you did your research. You did your research. You're not just like most people actually do news content. They just pick something because it is trending. Like Charlie Kirk has been trending from last week after, God rest his soul, since his assassination. It's been like a trending topic in the United States. You do anything, Charlie Kirk, your video definitely is going to like have some interesting views there going on. That also brings in the conversation about these videos are likely to do very well, and sometimes it may attract, like, let's say, some attention on the channel that you are not really like looking for. So yes, as much as you are trying to grow revenue, but it can also be like, for lack of a better word, it can also be like a recipe for like getting, let's say, people reporting the content, especially if they don't agree with you for some reason. How
Yes.
do you navigate this? And that puts you as a very in a very delicate place as a content creator, because news content can be very risky. In a sense, it's also very risky content. It does very well, but it can be very risky. How do you protect yourself from risk as a content creator,
I
especially
think the first
when the content goes viral?
I think the first thing I told myself before I started was that I wasn't going to reply any comment in a haste.
Mm.
And that kind of puts so many things to rest, so many challenges or problems that I would have had with some people on the channel. And there are sometimes I will see comments on my video, I'll pause. I won't answer the comments at that time, because some comments might be from hateful people, especially when you're reporting about Marcani, for instance, and some people like Per Poliver, who is the opposition, and you are reporting something positive about Poliver, and some other Marcani supporters are attacking you. So at that instance, I don't reply, and when I come back to the comment later, I just like the comment. I don't even reply the comment at all, and that will put the comment to rest. So the first thing I do is to look at the comment, read the comment over and over again, tell myself how to reply to that comment, and I kind of like um even negative criticism. Someone said even a negative comment is also a
A
PR
comment.
for your
Absolutely.
content. Because when you have negative, some you look at some content that has negative, those content might go viral, because those content will help to drive the content way higher to more people than you could even imagine. So I like it. I am all
Okay.
for it.
There's a question here. There's a statement here by Vani. Vani says, "I can't do news because you need to be doing a lot of research on a regular basis. On a regular basis, and that is very true, because you cannot just go and post things. Otherwise, you can also fall into the trap. YouTube also has very strict rules when it comes to some of these things. And that's why you can also fall into the trap of somebody may actually report you for either like sharing content that is misleading or one of those things. Or yeah, there are YouTube guidelines for these things. Natecho V is asking you, Bosede, how do you deal with reused content with these reaction videos? You are reacting to some certain news. How do you deal with the reused content risk as well, for lack of a better word?
Okay.
So sometimes news means that sometimes you're actually like sharing clips and snippets of something.
Okay. I think the first thing I do, there was a time, you remember, Goga, when YouTube brought something in August, that kind of um, gave me some, I would say I was scared at that time, because
Yeah.
most of the reaction I do, I get them from external sources, then take them to editing app to edit them and talk on them. But at that time, there was something I was doing at that time which I changed after then, I wasn't talking. If you look at some of the videos I posted then, I was not talking on them. I was not talking. I'll just put a video of mine um talking, but my voice is not um heard on those videos. So, but after, I think Talata came to my rescue. Talata came to my rescue and she was like, Bosede, you have to change the pattern of how you do this. You can react to them. Look at how I do mine. And if you see Talata, you know that she also reacts to some videos and she talks on them. And I took clue on how she does her own, because if YouTube comes for me, I wouldn't want to lose my channel for any of that. So I try as much as possible to pick something that I know I can talk on, look at the news again, then try to talk on those topics, those topic I want to talk about. Then in that way, I think it's no longer a reused content. It has become mine.
Absolutely, because it has been it's been modified from its original version, and you've made it you've given a commentary or a critique. That is what YouTube normally requires when it comes to this particular content. You started off this because you are out to make money. Did it was it worth it? Was the revenue chase worth it? Like, are they okay for, because we are Africans, and I know Africans, we like asking things like with a lot of words. But I'm going to ask like somebody from Bosede, are you making money from this content as compared to the past?
I would say yes. I am making money, but not as much as I would want to.
But there's a difference in ad revenue. There's a shift, yeah?
There's a shift. I remember there was a day I posted, you will see a short on my channel. If you check through my channel, you'll see a short. I think I had about 160 something K views on a short. And I was like, wow. I think that was the first time I had that. And it got to a point I had to go show. I ran to my husband. I was like, see, it's going viral. And within 5 minutes, you could see about 5,000 views climbing on it. And I was so happy. I think that the last time I checked, the short gave me about, was it $17 or something?
Wow, that's good.
Something close. I don't know the actual, but like the short gave me money that I haven't seen in a while on any of my videos, and that kind of shifted my perspective about things. I came to like the niche, because if not for few times, or maybe about a month ago, that there was low downturn in views, I think I've been having views on my channel, and I like that.
Bosede, stop being modest. Guys, have you seen Bosede's shorts? Go and look at Bosede's shorts. The most popular short she has is this one that has half a million views.
Yes. I think that's the short I'm talking about.
This the one by Traore, this one that gave you. Bosede, look at the views on these shorts. 500,000. That is, that is like the entire life of somebody's channel. Your one shot is the entire life of somebody's channel. That is the total view somebody has gotten on their channel. Then there's the Trump shot and things like that. These are very beautiful views. And for you to get $17 on a short, that short must have done very well, because we do know we don't get a lot of money from shorts. It's usually very very like
Then
0.0000000. Yeah. Wow. This is amazing. This is amazing. This puts you also in a very different this puts you also in a very different frame of mind. You're not just like a teacher of history, you're not just a content creator, you are technically now a journalist as well, because you have to do your
yes.
due diligence. You have to do your due diligence. um I don't know, how do you find the balance between all these things? You are a mother, you are a teacher, you're a content creator. Now you have to like do your research. You're now a journalist, technically on YouTube. How much time, in short, what I'm asking you, how much time does it take to make content on this new niche that you picked 5 months ago?
Hmm. I would say it has not been easy at all. It hasn't been easy. You know, for someone that does what I do, I told you I usually go out very early in the morning,
Very early at all.
very early in the morning. Sometimes I live stream from the school. Then I come back from the home to check on some content. Sometimes when I go into TikTok, when I search TikTok, I am not there to have fun, to look at dances and all that. I am there to get clue, to make research on news I want to talk about. So that's why I
Mm.
am on TikTok. Sometimes I go to Facebook when I see things that catches my attention that I want to talk about. I just look at it, then I download some of it. When I download them, I might have like 5 videos downloaded on my phone. Then when I have the time, say on Saturday, there was a Saturday I didn't do anything. My my children, they were there, they fend for themselves. I was editing all through Saturday. Sometimes editing might take 1 hour depending on um the shooting, because you have to shoot, you have to talk about the video, you have to say this. Sometimes you might say something that you don't want to say, you go back, and we all know how shooting a video is all about on YouTube. I won't bore us with
Mm.
that, but the editing is, sometimes you edit, upload, then you find out that what you've uploaded is a wrong thing. You have to delete, go back and re-edit again.
Yeah.
And so I would say maybe between 30 minutes to 1 hour, depending on how long the video is. That's how long it takes me to edit.
What about the frequency? Because if you are doing news content, it also means that it has to be very frequent. Because what may be news today may be still tomorrow. Because the
Okay,
time may
so
be.
for me, I am not a full-fledged news channel. The first thing I noticed is that, except you are a big channel, many people might not want to come back to your channel to watch always. So one thing I do is I allow my, if you look at my videos, I don't post every day. There was a time I tried it, most of the videos suffer. So I allow 2 days interval. I just pick on things that I think will interest people. I talk about things that will interest people from various countries and all that. So I don't do um, news as you go, maybe as it trends and all that. No. So that's my own dynamics.
And that's good because it also prevents you from like getting overwhelmed. Because otherwise, then it will mean that it's almost like going on YouTube full time, in case you have to chase the news every day, for sure, right? Yeah. So, Bosede, can you hear me? You froze there for a bit. Sorry, guys, we lost Bosede. She's coming back. Oh yeah, she's back. Bosede, can you? Oh yeah, you're there. You're there. No, I'm saying I like your strategy because then it also prevents you from like getting overwhelmed. Because otherwise it means that you may be like a full blown YouTuber full time, so which is not possible because you're a teacher. Okay, guys, if you have any question you want to ask Bosede, feel free to drop it on the chat and let me know. Then I can be able to place it before her. Rob Albanks, welcome. Thanks so much for coming in. Official Elmo is saying, Bosede, I hope you make Oprah money. I like that. I like that dream. I like that dream. I like that dream. I like that dream. We all want that Oprah money. We all want that Oprah money. But today one of the things, so you are not fully a news channel, but you also like you also became you also coming from a place of you used to share a lot of educational content about YouTube educational content, updates, almost like tutorials in a sense. And I do like your take on this because that's one of the things you used to do a lot in your live streams. And I always tell people that Bosede is also very vast and very good when it comes to the latest YouTube updates. In case you are trying to like get an opinion on the latest YouTube updates, talk to us about this kind of content. Did it do extremely well? Was it boring? YouTube this year has been dropping updates after every like I don't know. I feel like YouTube is releasing updates after every second this year. You can't even keep up on the updates anymore. What about that YouTube educational content? Is it something that you're still going to like be sharing, or in a very different, or maybe in a different platform?
Am I back?
Yes, you're there. You're there. We can hear you. I don't know that you got the question.
No, I couldn't.
Okay, I was asking you about you also used to share YouTube educational content. Are we still
Yes.
going to see more? Are we still going to see more of that, or it's something that you're going to take to a different home?
Hmm. I would say no. I kind of maybe I'm talking from my own perspective anyway, or because I wasn't um that I was not having that platform as at then. But
Mm,
I would say most of the channels I saw doing that, I know they already have an audience that are meant for those content. So most of the audience I have, most of the people I have coming to my channel, is either some of them are not content creators or some of them are already monetized. So if I'm posting something on how to get monetized in maybe 2 weeks, I can't be posting about I can't be posting to someone who is already monetized. That person might not even see it as um being useful
important.
anymore.
Mm,
And even those that watch it might just be watching just to support me. So those were some of the things that discouraged me from going into that content, that aspect of content creation. Then also there there was so many times there were so many times that I had these content block. Was it is it called content creation block? That I don't
yes.
even know what to talk about again. I've exhausted all the ideas I have and all that. But with news, it comes to you every day. But that's not to say a niche I would like to go into, of which I, let me even talk about my sports channel. My sports channel, sport was one thing that brought me into YouTube. It was first sports before every other thing,
Mm,
because I'm a sports person. When I came into YouTube and I I I began to upload sports content, and I knew nothing about how to react or how to do this. So there was a time I got a strike on one of the sports content I posted, and
mm,
I had to pause. And that was what took me to another niche, which I created on another account. So it is now I'm now trying to uh, promote my sports channel, but I don't want to do this connect to me that I want the subscribers to come naturally from sports content, so that it
Mm.
will be from people that love sports that will be able to be watching my content, and not people that want to do me a favor by watching my video.
All right. There are some questions here that were asked. I'm going to just place the first one. So Chana was asking you, Bosede, I noticed you always go live while in class. How do you manage this so that you don't get into trouble?
Mm, this is a very good question. When last time I usually go live in class, although the educational system in my country might be a bit different from other countries. In my school, we have form teachers who are teachers that sit with these students so that they don't injure themselves or they don't spoil school um, things and all that. So I am one. So I sit in the class as a form teacher, and while sitting in the class, there will be another teacher teaching at the front. So
Oh,
sometimes you might be wondering that's why sometimes I keep my voice as slow as possible so I don't distract the students. So I'm currently sitting at the back of the student. So most of them are facing the teacher teaching at the board. So sometimes when I have a class, I pause or I check when I have the time. I don't live stream when I have a class, or I leave the live stream open, go to my class and come back. So that's how I do that.
all right.
And
Uh,
getting into trouble, I would say it has gotten me into trouble in a way. Um, there were some speculations last time that some people went to the owner of the school to report me that I am always doing TikTok, I am always
wow.
doing this, I am always, and to tell you for a fact that so many people, they are still backward when it comes to content creation in my country. Most of these people don't even know about YouTube. They don't know the kind of revenue I am getting from. I'm going to tell you, Goga, for a fact that if not for the love of teaching, in fact, I left teaching, I was called back. You might notice that at the beginning of this term, I didn't go to school for about a week. I was called back to resume. I had wanted to leave the school because of that incident. So most of these people, they don't know anything about content creation. I was so happy when Tonya picked interest in what I was doing then, and that was why I am so eager for her to get monetized so that they can see the benefits of um being a content creator, and not just, most of them are still depending on the salary, which is peanuts, by the way, which does not take them anywhere.
Okay, Chana, I hope you've been answered. Or Chana says, thank you so much for answering. There's also another question here by Omar. Omar is asking you, Bosede, do you think your niche stands a chance for brand deals? This Omar has been asking very interesting questions today. This one decided to go and prepare for this Sunday service even more than me. This one has Omar, Omar, what book are you using? Where are you getting these questions? Because today you're asking very difficult questions. Even me, I'm like, hey, Omar, how many times do I call your name? Anyway, just kidding.
To just to divert a bit before I answer the question, you might know Omar. Omar is my very good friend, and
Yeah.
he's putting me on a hot seat. But Omar is very intelligent. She's a very intelligent person, and I don't regret coming close to her. And to answer your question, I don't think so. I don't think my niche will attract much of brand deals, but I'm not limiting myself to just one channel. I am not. I believe that someday I will still get brand deals. Someday. Because I am thinking of creating some other channels other than I might go into blogging and you know talking about locations around Abuja where I live and all that. That's another niche in which I am looking at. So
Oh, nice.
I might not get brand deals from this channel, but surely I will some other day.
Okay. That's a very. I think I like your content direction. Let me go back to your sports channel. Sports is very. I don't know. Sports is one of the most protected niches on YouTube. Actually, not just on YouTube, but everywhere on the internet. You post a small video like this about a soccer highlight. Boom! Copyright strike instantly. It's a very sensitive like niche. Like I think all my friends who are in the sports niche, I always just wish them well because I know everybody who has done sports, everybody in my community who has done sports, all of them have had a copyright strike in their life. All of them combined. So they had to go and rethink their content. How do you navigate this terrain? Because Africa Sports with Bosede, that's your second channel. Um, Africa Sports with Bosede is a channel that you're growing very well, and it's likely to. I like what you say that you don't want to push it in terms of content creators growing it. You want it to grow organically on its own. But Bosede, how do you navigate? Sports is protected as content. Like these guys, I don't know what they did, but in case anybody else was to go and do what sports people do on YouTube, I think nobody will ever dare do reaction videos on the entire YouTube space because the sports people have really protected their space very well. Like I cannot even dare. You come and even post something here about Manchester United, boom, you're likely to be flagged for that content. So how do you navigate this challenge? Have you committed any sins yet?
I
Or
think
yeah.
the first thing I researched on when I came back after the strike and all that, the first thing I did was to
Wait,
look at.
you are the strike. You are the strike. You just say the strike. You just
Yes,
you just you just need you are the strike. You see? Yeah, there you go.
I had a strike on the channel which lasted for about 6 months. Then I had to do some study in some academy. But after the strike, I left the channel for a while. In fact, I started the news on that channel. I was testing so many things on that channel. When I posted a news on that channel, I saw that it had so much views. And I said, okay, why not take this to my main channel? And that was how I
Sorry?
ready.
But then we lost you a bit. I don't know what you said. You said, and that's how you broke off there.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I said that was how I imported some of those news into my main channel where we are talking about, where we are talking on.
Okay. Wow. Anyway, uh,
Can you hear
carry on
me?
now. Yes, I can hear you now. Carry on with your thought. I know you are talking about the sports content and how you navigate it. Now that the strike has been lifted, what are you still going to carry on with it or yeah?
Yes, I will. So the first thing I did was to study some other channels to see how they do their content. Most of them, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So most of them do reaction on the videos. Most of them talk about the current situation, about matches and all that. They don't post directly about football, so they could still navigate around content, sports content creation without actually posting the main video, which is still going to earn them some views. Like for instance, there might be um AFCON happening, maybe African Cup of Nation. You might not post the actual video on the AFCON, but you might talk about the reviews of the matches. You might talk about players that are likely to be invited. You might talk about players that are likely to score and all that. And you might even do a watch along.
Hmm.
I got to know about this watch along through a friend, Ben, father and son. You might know him. So I got to know about this watch along, that you could actually be watching a football match on your television and be talking about it on your, and people will still watch. So there are so many. Sport is so dynamic that you could still do something around sports that might not.
Okay. Bosede, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, just checking. You broke off a bit, but we had everything. Omar says Bosede has a very beautiful angle when it comes to reporting sports, and yeah, and that is the channel she's trying to build, guys. The sports channel, Africa Sports with Bosede. Um, it's on the road to 400, but I like how she said she's not pushing it to people. Uh, she wants it to be like she wants it to grow organically. Bosede, before I proceed further, you are being asked here by Anti-Okra Man. I have a question from David Hunt for the co-host. This one decided to go and use his ninja to come and ask questions on his own behalf. Can okra be a good niche for me? Bosede, these are the things I have to deal with on my channel at the Sunday service. What is your take on okra? Let's talk about food briefly before we continue. did, did you get the question?
Can okra be a
No, he's
good
just
niche?
asking. He's just asking you indirectly, what is your take on okra? Don't worry about whether it's going to be a niche. Just answer your take on okra. He's
I
just
know
trying to find ways of asking.
so many people, they don't like okra just because of its texture, how it draws. And so many people will tell you it is like a mucus when you see when you see okra. So I think I've seen conversations around okra and all that. But I know there are so many health benefits about okra. There are so many health benefits when you like it. You can start off by telling people the usefulness of okra as a plant, or as you can tell people how useful it is, and they will like it.
Bosede, what is your opinion on okra? You spoke in third person. We want to know you as Bosede. Do you take okra?
I don't.
I knew she was trying. She's trying to skirt around the issues. She's going like round in circles. Like, so you don't take okra. I think that is the end of this conversation at the Sunday
I don't.
service. Such a politician. David, and you have this one. You want this one, David. You want this one because Bosede did not want to disappoint me. Anyway. Let me even move on from that. Why am I even asking these okra questions? Now let's carry on. You got a super chat from Kanini Kanene. Kanini Kanene, thank you so much for that super sticker. And it's in
Thank you
your
so
favorite color. It's in red because you said you love red and orange.
Thank you so much, Kanini.
Yeah, guys, feel free to drop a super chat, super stickers. You can join memberships. It's a monetized channel just to support our sister Bosede Joseph. Make sure you can make sure you're part of that uh, particular community. Shana is distracting me. I love okra. If okra is not slimy in my country, you failed as a wife material. Where Cameroon is coming through. This is why, Shana, this is why you have to come to the Sunday service and silence for me this David Hunt once and for all. Oh, where, where, that is hot. That is fire. Uh, Omar says, from my overall research, everything can be a niche. It just depends on your projection and your audience perception. People just want to be satisfied. 100%. I think I agree. I do agree with that. I do agree with that particular thing. Let me see. Let's talk about like in case somebody wants to get into the niche, like let's say this niche of yours, and let's say for some reason they are intimidated by the tools that you use. Like for example, you see you said Eunice Talata gave you tips on how to Eunice Talata gave you tips on how to like edit a video so that you can avoid problems and things like that. So in case this may be very overwhelming, especially to a beginner, knowing what you know now as a content creator who is like exploring news as content, from where you sit, what are some of like your main tips? The main tips that in case somebody wants to do reaction content when it comes to news, what are some of the main tips that you'll give them? It can even be editorial, it can be the editing software, it can be a strategy on how to like package the content, maybe speak for like 30 seconds, then stop, let this clip play or some, what are some of the tips that you swear by today based on your experience?
Okay, I think the first is to love the content, the niche. If you don't love the content, there are so many people that will tell me, I don't like news. So most of them don't even listen to news. So they can't even go into this. It is only when you're passionate about news around you that you can make a niche out of it. So I would say the first thing is to love the niche itself. Then, second of all, learn your sources. Learn where to get videos from. I sometimes get video from Facebook, from TikTok. That's where I don't go near YouTube, maybe trying to download other people's videos from YouTube. I don't do that. So I go to YouTube, then I download content that are not watermarked. I try as much as possible to go away from those content that are not watermarked so as not to give myself copyright. So when I download those contents, then I take them to CapCut. I use CapCut for my editing. Then I edit them. Then another thing I would say for someone trying to go into this niche is you have to watch the video in question. You have to try and get the idea of what they are talking about. When I see something, I try to listen to get the main topic of the discussion.
Oops. Oh yeah, there you go. You're back.
Okay.
Yeah. Main topic of discussion. That was your last
Yes,
statement.
the main topic of discussion, so as to be able to discuss on the topic.
Okay. Guys, I hope you are taking those notes just in case you're like in case you want to get into this particular niche. What has been the biggest challenge just approaching that when it comes to content, other than now because I know you talked about editing earlier and how sometimes it can be very strenuous, and sometimes maybe you don't have time because you wake up so early, you go to school as early as 4 in the morning, and also you are a wife, you are a mother, so there are all these competing needs. But what would you say has been the biggest challenge for running like a semi news focused YouTube channel?
Hmm. I'll say the biggest channel is to be able to broadcast the right news at a time.
Mm.
You might be looking at other channels and be like, what is this?
I can't. Yeah,
So
we can.
sorry
Okay,
about that. Okay.
no worries.
So you might be looking at other channels and seeing something going viral on the channel, but when you talk about it on your channel, the views might not be as much as you want it to be. Those are
Mm.
some of the challenges I'm facing as a news content creator. And when you don't have the platform yet, I would say I don't have the platform yet. If you look at these conventional news broadcasters, like the normal news channels, you see that they already have their own audience. Even if they post rubbish, their audience will still watch it and they have the needed views. But for those of
Mm.
us that are still struggling with at creating a community of our own, so many people that watch my content, they are not even content creators. There are so many people that just watch and go. They just watch and go. So there's no guarantee that those people are sticking with you on your next content. That's why we have um dynamism in the views we have. You see some content getting viral, while some might not even have the views, because most of those people that watch those ones that went viral, they are not
Mm.
interested in the ones you posted afterwards, and that's why so many of them don't watch some of your other content.
I like that because and Masha T says something there. Agree. We have to broaden our mindset to be aware of every news globally, whether or not it affects you, especially when the YouTube family is diverse, cultures, and in different countries worldwide. And I think I like how you said you've only done 3 videos on Nigeria. Most of your content is from very different and diverse places in the world. And Natechovi agrees with you and says with news you have to broadcast on time. Once it is past time, no one will be interested to watch it again. Few might watch it, those who want to like catch up on it and things like that. There's a question that was asked here because I want to now get into your live because you still do live streams, but the videos are doing well. If the videos are bringing in revenue, the conversation then will be, why are you suffering doing live streams still? Because you're not doing, there are people like I always say, when your videos are popping, why are you stressing yourself doing live streams after a very busy day at work when you could just be chilling with your kid, with your husband, and you wait for the next video that is going to give you your $20? And that is what Shana is trying to ask indirectly. Bosede, what is your take on the vertical and horizontal live stream? Because she still sees you doing those like those chat live streams.
I think I've already told Chana. I've told her. I answer your question first or hers?
I mean, it's entirely up to you as the co-host and the teacher.
So
I trust your judgment as a teacher now.
so the first one I will say is I prefer horizontal, vertical live stream as a person, because you know that horizontal live stream is maybe for those that already have their own community, that even when they do the horizontal live stream, people will always come and watch. But when you're still struggling with views and all that, to find your channel while doing horizontal live stream might be very difficult. And I told you something. I think I told you this on your channel while I was asking you the question. I said when I prefer um new people coming to my channel, because that way so many people will get to super chat me from there. I'll get to meet new people from there. New people will tend to discover my channel from horizontal, from vertical live stream. Sorry guys, I get to confuse the two together. So and to tell you that I will not concentrate only on videos, because Goga, you know how threshold is. I'm looking at a place where I get to stop teaching for a while in order to pursue what I want to pursue, to further my education by just doing YouTube as a full time. I want to get to that level. And, like I said, the revenue in this part of the world, in this country, is nothing to write home about. So for you to get your threshold for the month, you need the super chat. I'm telling you. If there's no super chat, there are some months where I don't get as much supers as possible, though I still get some revenue, but the supers are so much needed for me to meet my threshold.
Okay. Chana, I think you've gotten, she's given you her opinion on it. In terms of her take on horizontal vis-a-vis vertical. Chana, I hope you've been answered. Is there anybody else? In case you have any question, feel free to drop it on the chat. I've already kept Bosede here for 2 hours, and I know she has to leave at some point. Bosede, you are busy wondering now what you'll be discussing for 2 hours. It's already 2 hours 3 minutes on the Sunday service. I told you time flies at the Sunday service. You never even realized.
I'm very surprised. Very surprised.
Okay. Masha says, I agree. Many watch, peep, and go. They never stick. They never stick and stay to support and engage. Yet still, we understand everyone time differs. God, family, work, and so on. If any is fast in this busy, yeah, that's true. This is this fast busy living that we are all in 100%. You have been asked, what is your guys? You can now ask Bosede all your questions. It's Q&A time before we let her go in the next 30 or so minutes. What's the magic to getting super chats? Because hey, this one is asking you for the tricks. How do I get that super? How do I get those orange and red colors?
I think the first thing first, be yourself. Be yourself. I've known Goga for a while now, and the first time I saw you, I think I saw you on Eve's monetization party. I think it was on Eve Akeka monetization party, and while you were there, I saw you with a goggle, glasses, and all that. And you remember I asked if I could get one of those, and you said you were going to send one to me. So, and
Yeah,
since then I think you've not changed.
I bought this one because of you. I've never worn this one, so I saw them at the shop and I was like, let me buy this one for Bosede. The sunflower.
So, since then you've been yourself. You've not changed a bit, and that's what people like. I've seen people come to my channel and they be like, oh, you're so natural, oh, you're this, you're that, you're not yourself, you're that. And I think that's what people want. So when you just go, if you're a cooking channel, you can be cooking and be doing and be discussing to people. I have someone else who had helped me on this YouTube. Her name is Mercy. I don't know if many of you know her, but
Macy, yes, from the coast. I know her, the Kenyan lady, the cat lady.
she was the one that helped me. She was the first person I came into contact with when I started YouTube, and she was the one that she was always pinning me on her channel, and even till today she still supports me. She said I am a student that I'm now a certified student of hers. So since I knew her then and even till now, she does her thing in the kitchen, discuss, talk to people and all that. She never, and some people, they stick to her up till now because of that, because she's always herself. So I would say the first thing first, be yourself on your live stream. I'll just, most of the time, Goga knows me, I'll sit on my couch, talk to people. If you come, and some people, I've had so many instances where people drop super chat even from the bush. I don't know them. They will drop, they won't even say anything. They will just drop. It means they are seeing, or they are hearing some things that they like. They might be listening to some values about what you're saying and all that, and they kind of like it, and through that they get to appreciate your effort for what you're doing. So I think the first thing is to be yourself. And also, I would say, even the trolls, keep them closer. Keep everyone until your patience is stretched to the limit. There are some people, the other day I heard Kanini talking about trolls on her channel, and I will tell you for a fact that I have seen it all. Some people will tell you to do a 360 for them. Some people will tell you, show me your feet. So many of those nasty things they tell you. But, be yourself. You're here for the revenue. You're here, probably as a mom. You're here as someone with integrity. If you have integrity, you won't do most of those things. But I've seen some channels, when they tell them do 360, they do it. They go ahead to do it in desperation for super chat. People that will still super chat you will do that. People that will still support your channel will still do that, irrespective of what you are. I've seen some moms, some people that have children, they still get super chatted. So it's not about showing everything on YouTube and you expect people to respect you because of that. It will not happen. So I would say, be yourself on the YouTube street.
Bosede, Muntu is laughing on the chat like crazy. Muntu says they do 900. Now, to the people who don't know what a 360 is, you're the one person I am always so fascinated at how calm and collected you are when trolls come to your space. You're not even bothered. You'll keep doing your thing. There's a time, I think it was on a weekend, you are doing your laundry and you got a coordinated troll attack for like a while, and you're just patient. You still afforded to smile and things like that. How do you keep it together? Like when you have all these people trying to come for you and make you, they're saying all these nasty things. I think I was on that live stream. I was the one who was busy fighting with them, but you did not even look bothered. For me, I was like, Bosede, you need to make this chat subscriber only. Bosede, why are these people doing? Like, I was getting so agitated because I have zero patience for people who come and they're disrespecting the host. How do you manage this kind of craziness? Because not everybody has the patience you have, Bosede. Not everybody.
I would say, yes, I remember that day. I think you were, and the reason partly was because my hands were soapy and I didn't want to touch the screen of my phone too much. So,
Yeah.
but that's by the way. I will say that some trolls, they are going through things and they are just looking for where to vent their anger, or they are just going around creating enmities and all that. And if you allow it to get to you, they will be happy and be like, oh, mission accomplished. But some people, you discover that when you don't even answer them, they become more angry. I've seen so many of them say, oh, I say you are a goat. I say you are a this. I say you are black. And I'm like, yes, I know, I am black. So what else? So I think not giving them that room to give them that notion that they have won is kind of getting them more angry. And with them, some of them stay and they become. See, I went to a live stream the other day, my friend's live stream, and this fellow was busy saying, I'm going to take it to US. I'm going to take it to US. And I'm like, okay, give a super chat before taking her to US. And he kind of bounced on me and he started saying all sorts of, I was like, if this girl did not go from this live stream, I'm going to stop chatting. This person is, Joseph is a, and I told him, oh, by the way, Joseph is late and I'm Bosede. So you don't, so because of that, he got curious and he came over to my live stream and he connected to me. But at some point, I did not like his energy, and I think I've seen his energy somewhere else on the street. I did not like it. And, when you don't answer them, they are more curious to even know who this person is. But when you start at every little thing, you time them out or you block them. There was a time I was blocking almost all of them because I had the views at that time. But now the views are not there. So even if you're trolling me, you're welcome.
It's a view. You're welcoming the view. And I think that's what my brother Rob Albanks is saying, because Rob Albanks says the same thing, that he never like gets rid of trolls unless it becomes outrageous.
Yes.
So Rob Albanks is just agreeing with what you're saying. And then Omar says trolls want attention. It's best to make them dumb, but if they need rehab, please by all means do. If you need to, I like how Omar calls it rehabilitation. I love that. Kanini says, I'm listening, my love, Bosede. There's a very beautiful comment here by Shana. Shana says, I was on a live stream and this lady was giving them a 1,360 when they asked for 360. Hey, I was just restless watching her. Bosede, what is a 360? There are people who don't even know what a 360 is on this live.
Look, I think you know it. You just want me to say it.
And then, no, look. Natechovi says, me, I give a 360 even if they don't ask for it, but it depends with my mood. What is a 360? Me, I just know how to do a 180 because I do yoga, so I know how to do splits and things. What is a 360?
360 is when they ask you to turn around to do a full show of yourself. That's when they tell you to turn so that they can see what you have as an asset.
And they're not, and they're not, and they want you, and they want me to do this for free. I always tell, but this is where I will adopt the same thing, your same mindset. I always say that if I'm going to make a spectacle of myself on YouTube, you'll have to pay for it. Like I'd rather be rich. I'd rather be rich after doing all that craziness. But if I'm still like where I was before I did the 360 or the 1,360, I am not doing it. So I agree with you. Please click the dollar sign. Yeah.
Do you know what, Loga? If you check through those channels where they are saying those things, the rate at which they get help or they get supers, they are not much. You see those messages going up, do a 360, do flip flop, do this. They don't give super chat. They are just there to ridicule the person. They are not there to support. They are there to fill their eyes. They are not there to support. So why doing that for free when you can actually sit down and add value to people's life? Other than, I know that, I've seen so many. Recently, I've had low views. If you know my channel before now, I used to have like 25, 30 people watching me at a time. But, few months ago, or about a month ago, it went down, the views. And I began to search YouTube to see other channels, and I saw some channels that were doing so many of those nonsense, and I could see 100 people watching them at a time, 200 people watching them at a time, doing nonsense on YouTube. And some channels that are adding values, they are not getting the needed views, and YouTube are still pushing those content. So, and I'm like, what are they looking for? And I came into to conclusion that most of these men, they are hypocrites. They are there to watch. They may be telling the person, oh, go cover yourself, oh, do this, but you are still there watching. Why are you still there when you don't like it? It is because you like it. That's why you're there. So I will say that keep on doing yourself. Probably in future, it is going to favor us. We that we are doing our thing codedly in one corner. So maybe it's going to still favor us in the future. But for the
Priscilla,
fact that I
yeah.
am never going to do a 360 on my channel, the best you could see me of is sitting and talking. And maybe sometimes later I might be doing some things while live streaming. I might be adding some values while someone suggested live streaming at locations where people don't know. I could show people around my areas and live stream over there. I could consider that. But other than that, I am not doing a damn 360.
Okay, and Priscilla says the same thing. She has also faced trust, and for her, she has been asked. They also asked me if I can see myself because I was too dark. Sometimes they make those jokes
Yes,
based
yes,
on your
yes. Color.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that can also be a thing. Okay, Shana is just saying. Shana is just giving context about that. She was even shaking them in front and back. I almost melted when she went to change into a prettier, tiny dress to come and showcase. I left the live stream when she gave out her number. I was done. I was like, what am I even doing here? What am I even doing here? What am I even doing here? And then Kanini says, that is my audience during the morning exercise. That is my audience during the morning exercise. And then Kisha says, I did not even know what a 360 is, but until Natecho explained it, because Kisha has seen Natecho do it now, she has an idea.
You're a
Oh,
case,
yes.
Natecho. Natecho, you're
Yeah.
a case.
And then, congratulations. Congratulations, Timo. Timo is now fully monetized after 9 months of hard work. To those of you not Timo from Optimob family, Timo lost his channel. YouTube decided to take his channel just when he was about to get monetized in the first channel, without and they did not return that channel back to him. So he started from scratch after years of hard work. Timo decided to start YouTube from scratch, and now he's fully monetized again. And congratulations, Timo. I remember how devastated you are when you lost that channel. Was it in November last year? And then you started this new channel sometime this year, and look at where you are now. So well done, Timo, and congratulations all the way there in Switzerland on your monetization. And welcome back. Welcome back to the club. Welcome back to the club. That is a story that you need to tell, Timo, just to encourage people. Let me see. Bosede, the conversation around 360, it may not be a joke, but it also shines a light into what female content creators go through. As a lady, as a mother, as a wife, there are challenges that you go through, and the World of Ragas and I think I've discussed this, and even I think the World of Ragas was interviewing Eunice Talata, and they mentioned the same thing. The challenges you go through as a female content creator may be foreign to me as a male content creator. I may not be, I'll never be asked certain things on YouTube. I'll never be told to do a 360. I'll never be, there are certain things I'll never be asked to do as Goga. But these are things you go through every single day for you as a content creator. There are people who don't have, there are people who are not mentally strong like you. There are people who actually, it can break them. They can close YouTube, they go and start crying, and that is how they leave YouTube. What would be your word of advice, especially to the female content creators who are really coming up? Those of you are trying to build their channels from scratch. If they are to face this drama, and the algorithm on verticals is very different. It will always bring crazy people to your side. People don't even know you because YouTube is trying to put you in the eyes of the world. What is the piece of advice you will give to the content creators who are still growing their live stream and they may be very sensitive to this kind of comments? Do a 360. You are not, you are too dark. And they're normally very disparaging kind of remarks that can throw you off your game. So what is that? How do you do it? How do you do it? Because you have the mental capacity to be able to handle that craziness. But there's somebody somewhere will be like, they'll see one comment, they will close YouTube, never to be seen again.
Let me use myself as an example. I'll say the first time I started seeing them, I was I used to be angry, but one thing I told myself then was, you know, these people, I think I heard it somewhere and it kind of helped me. Some of these people, they are just here angry at life itself. In Africa, we are enjoying. I'm telling you for a fact. Some of these people, even though there's money, they have money, they are going through some things, and they are looking for every place, they are looking for everywhere to vent their anger. And I just told myself, I'm not going to let anything, because I'm here to stay. I'm on the YouTube to stay. I'm not going anywhere. There was a time you celebrated 5 years on YouTube. I was like, oh, if you can be on YouTube for 5 years, then it means I can also do that also. And I know that you're not going anywhere soon. So I was on I was on YouTube the other day, and you were like, that you're so sad some people left YouTube, and that you just discovered they are no longer on YouTube, and you don't know their whereabouts again, and not most of them did not tell you why they are quitting YouTube. And let me tell you the truth, some of these things might discourage people from live streaming. Most of these comments might, but I think you should just prepare your mind that, for instance, people that don't know about this, for instance, might be thrown off balance by all these comments. But when you know that some of these people are just coming to see what you want to say, let me just put it that way. They just want to see your reaction to most of this. Just ignore them. I would say ignore them. And if you know you can't ignore them, your block button is always active. Just hide them, and they will no longer see your channel forever. So I think that sometimes most of the time I don't use my timeout, except my moderators use them. I use my hide button when it has become so extreme. So I allow my moderators to time people out. But when I'm angry myself, Goga, you've not seen me being angry, but when I'm angry, there was a day I was just lashing out my anger on someone, and people were like, they have never seen me this angry before. They have never seen me, and that's the extent that I don't get angry easily. But when I do, I get angry, I get very mad. And that's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to be angry, so that I don't get extremely angry. I don't want to get to that extent. So I just hide the people when it has gotten to here that I can't tolerate them anymore.
Makes sense. I hope Kisha got that, because I think Kisha was just saying the same thing, that she doesn't do vertical live streams because for that very reason. And also Shana said the same thing. Fountain says yes, ignore them. Building a community is also not easy, but you're also one person. You've also intentionally worked to build your community and just just sustain a YouTube community that you can be able to interact with every week and things like that. How do you maintain your community, in on YouTube? Because YouTube again is always changing. Life is always happening to people. Sometimes people leave, people come back. The algorithm has its own thing sometimes. Talk to us about your tips when it comes to like nurturing a community on this
I would say
platform.
for now, I have I have just few people in my community circle for now. There was a time. Oh wow, wow. Your papa. Oh my god. Go girl, can you see? Light is just coming. In Nigeria.
Wait,
Okay,
you did
so
not have light. It was so
I
bright night.
I was using a bulb, a rechargeable bulb.
It was so
So
bright. I barely noticed.
so I think my community has reduced drastically. People left. There are so many people I used to know in my circle that left because of one thing or another, because of life. Maybe life has gotten so busy that they can't drop on YouTube again. And one thing that has kept me going in all this, YouTube is a street. Should I say a community on its own? The whole of YouTube. You get to meet people every day. Goga, I'm sure you know this. That you get to meet new people almost every day. So
Absolutely.
there's a saying that soldier go, soldier comes, barracks remain. So you can go on my channel, you can leave my channel, but I still remain here. And I will always get people that will come and support me, provided I'm being myself. So I might have less people in my community now, but I am sure that with time it's going to improve again.
All right.
I hope I
Thank you so
answered the
much.
question.
Yeah, you have. Thank you so much, Timo. Thank you so much, Timo, for stopping by. And please say hi to your beautiful wife, Sabine. I will see you tomorrow on your drive, on your morning drive, probably. But thank you so much, Timo, for stopping by. I appreciate you. All right. There's a question here that has been asked. What would you do if you are trolled by a fellow content creator? One of my first troll was a content creator who told me I'm hiding myself because I am fat. Yikes. Okay. Whew. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. But then have you ever
And
been trolled by a fellow content creator?
I have not. I have
Okay, I have
not.
I have I have been trolled by two people two content creators, but I of course I just ignored them because they were I'm the president, so when somebody comes for me, I know they're looking for attention. So I've also learned to like realize that sometimes when somebody throws my name a lot, that there's an attention they're looking for, so they just want me to break. Yeah, but okay, this is a very interesting one.
I
Yikes.
have
So,
I have
so
had that I have not had that scenario before. I've not been trolled by a fellow content creator. But if that happens, I mean I treat them the way I treat others. Because if a fellow content creator can troll me, it simply shows the fact that they've reduced themselves to a certain level where I can no longer respect them as a person.
yep.
So if you are my fellow content creator, you know how I feel. You feel my pain as a content creator, and you're still there causing me pain. It's
Well
it
said.
shows it's just simply showing me that you're not there for me. You're not my friend. You're just there to follow cloud or something. So I just give you the block button. I hide you. I, I reduce you to the same level as other trolls.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. I just give you the block button. Oh my goodness. Hey, guys, you can listen to Bosede all day. If you have not connected to Bosede Joseph, there's a link that is pinned on top of my chat. It will throw you over to her live stream so that you can be part of her beautiful community. She does live streams every day at 9 p.m. Niger time. It's normally like 11 p.m. in Kenya. She does that every time at 9 p.m. So you can be part of that beautiful community. And we are just exploring her community, her change of content, her strategies, her tips, and whatnot. Nino and Lo, thanks so much for coming in. Nino and Lo, I needed to shout your name. Lo, is that you or is that Nino? So that I know how to like shout. Nino and Lo says it's Lo or it's Lo here. Lo. Okay, Lo is the wife to Nino. So Lo says uh, it's low here. And I was trolled once on a solo live stream by someone that called me the Temu Opera. I just turned it around, laughed about it, and owned it. Yeah, and that is actually smart. That is actually the Temu Opera. That's actually a very smart strategy of turning things around low. And please say hi to Nino on my behalf. Please say hi to Nino on my behalf. Is anybody who has any question for Bosede so that we can we don't keep her longer? I can see the daughter somewhere there trying to like get mom's attention. But feel free to drop any questions that you may have. But I'm getting to the cool down section where I'm going to ask my final questions to her. Bosede, in case there are teachers who are watching you right now, or even other professionals, because you have a profession, you have a vocation that takes you to work every day. And I like the example that you gave when Chana asked that question about whether getting into trouble while being on a live stream in school. In case there are professionals who are watching you right now, or in case there are fellow teachers who are watching you right now and they want to branch into a space such as YouTube. And for those of us in this side of the world, it's very important because now for me, YouTube has become a source of passive income. Uh, and it brings in some extra revenue that I did not plan for when I was focusing on my full-time job. What is your piece of advice to these people in case they want to jump over and just get a secondary form of income? It is certainly not easy because sometimes I don't know for you, but for me sometimes I feel like YouTube is another job altogether. It's like a job I do after my main job. But in case somebody wants to branch and start a YouTube channel or maybe find a passive source of income like you, what is that? I don't know. Would you tell them to go for it? What would be your take on this? Considering that most people don't know how to juggle this,
Yeah,
the time
I
and
agree
things like
with you. I agree with you, Goga, that YouTube is a job on its own. You know, when you don't know, you might be thinking it's very easy. Is it not just to create something or to sit down at the front? Some people will just tell you, why you're just sitting at the front laughing, but they don't know that it's a job. To sit in a place for some hours is also a job. So one thing I
absolutely.
would tell people that are looking to find a balance between content creation, you being a YouTuber, and also doing their job alongside, I would say don't allow one to overshadow the other. Find a balance. Find a balance in between the two. If you could try, do a bulk video editing, a bulk scheduling of your videos at the
Mm.
weekend when you have the time to do that. You could do that, and all you schedule your live your videos for the next week if you know you won't have the time, because there are some jobs that are so demanding of our time. I know of Vani's job is so demanding, time demanding, that sometimes she doesn't have time even to do content or to live stream and all that. So there are people that find themselves in same similar shoe. So what I would just say is find a balance, because I know YouTube is rewarding in the long run. YouTube is rewarding. No, I'm telling you that some of these jobs that we are doing is not paying as YouTube. in my own case, the job I do, where I go from morning till evening, I am being paid monthly, is not paying me as the one I'm getting from YouTube. And that was what made me to I wasn't I was not stressed when I knew that I wasn't going back to that teaching job, because I can comfortably sometimes stay for maybe a month or two before looking for another job. So sometimes we need to find a balance between the job we are doing, um, and also the YouTube, because none must suffer. You just have to find a way to strike a balance, because you have to balance the two for the two not to suffer.
Well said. There's a question here that has been asked. I don't even know the person who was asking. These people are drama. Natecho V is asking, Bosede, will you ever introduce your husband to us? Or it's not part of your niche? Why do you want to know people's husband? Why do you want to know people?
I don't want to say some word, because I see this as a formal setting. So Natasha, I'm going to come back for you. But you know, like I said, you were not here when I was introducing myself. I told you that I decide to keep some part of my life private. And sometimes, Goga, when they see you, they want to gift you as a person. But when you start
I see where you're going with that. When they see the husband is going to ruin revenue.
So I let you gift me. This is part of I told you I'm here for the revenue. I am here for the revenue. So gift me. But when I start introducing my husband or something, then the gift will reduce.
Bosede, is your husband listening to us right now? Let me just find out before you try. Is your husband watching the Sunday service?
No, he's not. He went out.
Or is he subscribed to your channel?
Yes, he is.
So he has gotten a notification somehow. Guys, you hear? Guys, stop asking people their status, because some of them are making money on YouTube.
The thing about him is he's not even jealous of all this. He might be beside me and somebody will be saying, "Oh, I want to marry you." I'll be like, "Oh, come and marry me already."
Give us a 360. And he's there next to you, just like wondering what is going on.
And he will say nothing.
Guys, stop be asking people's marital status when they are on live stream. You may be ruining business. Okay, that is the moral of the story from what Bosede has said. Stop be asking people's status on YouTube where they may be making money, and your question is going to ruin their business. No wonder Unfiltered Maria always gets so annoyed when people ask her those questions when she's live, because you are ruining business.
If you ask me, "Oh, do you have a husband?" I'll answer you, "Oh, do you want to marry me?" That is the answer I give you.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. And why do you always have to clarify? Kanini Kanene was seated where you are last week, and she also had to say something like, "I have one husband." It was so funny. And you said the same thing, Bosede. Why do you have to clarify you have one husband? Or like, you and Kanini, this is the first time like I've seen people on YouTube clarifying that they have one husband. What impression is out there that you people have multiple husbands?
I've had people ask me, "Oh, are you married?" Because they know I have children. So they'll be like, maybe they thought I got those children out of wedlock or something. I was like, "No, I'm properly married." And some other persons will be like, "No, you are too young to be married." Some people will tell me, "Oh, You must be under 25. I'll be like, oh, I'm way past 3 decades on Earth. So what are you saying?
Oh my goodness. The ladies, you are, Bosede, you are looking amazing. You are glowing. That is the first comment that everybody, all the ladies were saying when you came in. Skincare routine. Give people your skincare routine because I know there are these ladies, they always want to know about the skincare routine.
Like I said last week, when Kanini was talking about skincare routine, I don't have any. I want to tell you for a fact that, there was a time I was trying some product on my face, or because I was having some pimple. So those products ended up spoiling my face the more when I stopped using them. So since then, I just use those conventional soap that. But one thing I know I'm particular about is the kind of natural thing I use on my. I just use this kind of shea butter, but it's a refined one. I don't even go for all these fancy things. I try as much as possible to keep things that goes into my body so natural so that I don't spoil. I don't do chemicals on my skin. I don't do that. So and I'm trying recently. I'm trying to take as much fluid into my body as possible, like Kanini advised. And that's it. That is just it.
Okay, guys. A good story is good until another one is told. We need to like release our guest. It's almost 3 hours, and I don't want to keep her longer because I
Uh,
know the.
I, I think I've done the redirect now.
Okay,
So if I
fine.
end of mine, they are going to come to your life.
No worries. So I'm going to just ask one last thing, and then I give you a time to do as an outro or just a sign off, and then we can release it so that you can attend to those two human beings who I'm seeing trying to get your attention. Hey, and they are so quiet today. Like I'm impressed. They are so quiet. They're quiet. Like I'm even shocked. Did you chase them? But I saw your little daughter there, so I was like, okay. Um, Final question, and then we can at least like before we let you go. Looking ahead, Bosede, knowing where you are on your channel right now, where do you see your channel going and your storytelling going? And what role do you think you are playing in the grand scheme of things? What role do you think you are playing in terms of shaping how people consume news in the future? Because that is something that is changing nowadays. People are not going to stay and start watching televisions like catching up on the news like our parents. Nowadays we are getting news on platforms such as X. We are getting news on platform. You said you source your news from Facebook, TikTok. We are this is not what our parents this is not what our parents used to use to consume news. Knowing the way the world is changing right now, what is your role in this grand scheme of things? And then we'll be able to like give you a moment to just sign off.
I will say that my role is to get the news. Is it echoing? My role
Yes.
is to get my role is to get the news to most people. As we all know that so many people, they are no longer watching the news from the television right now anymore. Most of them do, they just go on their Instagram or on their YouTube to check the latest things about what is going on, or on the Facebook. And in a kind of way, I'm also trying to dabble into Facebook content creation. I'm also going into that. Um, so I think my role is to be a an ardent content creator in terms of news, casting, and all that, so that we can get this news to as many people as possible across the world.
All right. All right. And I think Masha T summarized it very well. Always be yourself and your authenticity will shine. And speaking of authenticity, Unfiltered Maria just gave you a blessing there. Blessings, Bosede. Thanks so much, Unfiltered Maria, for that
Thank
blessing.
you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
All right. And guys, please feel free to interact with the dollar sign on Bosede's chat in case you want to bless her chat. She also has a buy me a coffee on her channel. You can also support her buy me a coffee. We are now going to leave her on solo layout so that she can sign off and then we can release her. And then I'm going to read the affirmation and then we are going to raid. If any of my moderators is on the live stream, please type for me the raid command, Goga and Bosede raid. Blue and purple hearts on either side. Bosede, I'm now going to put you on solo layout so that you can wrap up this conversation for us. Feel free to recap any points that maybe you wanted to pass across that I may not have asked, and then we'll be able to let you go. So over to you.
All right. So I just want to use this medium to say thank you so much, Goga. Thank you for this opportunity. When I think I got to know about this Sunday service, and I never thought for one day that I'll get this kind of opportunity. It's so shocking to me when I saw your message and it was like, can you come to Sunday? I consider it as a great privilege. And one thing about YouTube is I want to encourage everyone out there. Tonya will bear me witness. Whenever I hear someone saying, and even Omar, Omar will also bear me witness. Whenever I hear someone saying, I want to quit YouTube, I don't always like that because it's always somehow having impact on me. Because when you're telling me you want to quit YouTube, you're indirectly discouraging me. Because somehow I will also feel discouraged and I'll be like, I'll reach the point where I also want to quit. So I always try as much as possible to encourage people to stick around, and that the benefit, if you're not monetized today, you will be monetized tomorrow, and the benefits will surely be for it. You will get the benefit at the long run. So my advice is to the upcoming YouTubers and those that are not monetized yet to hang in there, and someday you see the benefit of what you're working on, and you get to reap the benefits. Thank you so much, Goga, once again for the opportunity. I want to say a very, very, very big thank you. And when I was preparing this evening, I told my children, I was like, I need to prepare very well because I don't know when next I'm coming back to this panel. So I need to make this count so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. And to everyone who has supported me, who has supported us today, I want to say a very big thank you. I do not take your love for granted. I do not. Kanine, Unfiltered Maria, to everyone, Mashati, Omar, Tonya, everyone that made this live stream a success. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So Bosede, I officially released you. I've just ended your live stream so that you don't get unnecessary conversations here that that are not related to your channel. But thank you so much for your time. It was such an honor having you here. And it's almost 3 hours. It's 10 minutes to 3 hours. And see how time flies. But you did an amazing job. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for your gift of community. And, keep doing what you're doing. I think you're amazing. And I really appreciate just you creating time for us to come and have this conversation. And once at the Sunday service, you are always welcome at the Sunday service. Hey, who is this?
Good evening, Goga.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yes.
Really appreciate you for this kind gesture. I've heard
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
about you, but we are really
Good thing,
grateful. And
good things,
thanks
I
for
hope.
yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
really
thanks so much for also giving Madam Bosede time at least to talk to us for the last 3 hours.
yeah. I give the moral support the best way I can.
Appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. And guys, yeah, you missed the beautiful surprise at the end. We saw those of you came through the raid, they found the surprise. Those of you decided to leave and go and sleep, you missed the receipts. Thank you so much, Bosede. You are officially released. May you have an amazing rest of the day. We'll see you tomorrow on your live stream.
All right. Thank you so much, Goga.